Welcome back to another episode of Bo Sports.
On today's episode, we'll be discussing the New England Revolution winning their first regular season game against Charlotte FC this past weekend.
So, why New England won?
Oh boy, there's a lot to break down. I mean, this past weekend's game, it just looked all good. Defense kept Charlotte to 6 total shots and only 2 shots on target. The heels were just fighting each other on the field a lot. And it almost looked like last year's team. And it kind of made me realize some of the things that we take for granted when it comes to our sports teams. Is that your team isn't always going to be good. And when you do win, it's the greatest feeling ever as a fan. And, man, this was a nice game. It was one hell of a game. And I'm looking forward to seeing them go against New York City this coming weekend.
What was their strategy to win?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, the defense was very effective this game. However, it wasn't just the defense that was playing good. Our offense was super consistent and kept the pressure on Charlotte FC the entire game. And the stats don't show that, but the amount of pressure that you could see in that game from the New England Revolution attack was consistent. It was awesome. It was great. And, hats off to New England, man, because they were hounding the heck out of Charlotte FC. And, the stats alone that can prove just how effective the offense was. 11 shots for 3 shots on target to Charlotte's 6 and 2. Charlotte couldn't get into our side of the field because of our defense, and Charlotte couldn't do much because of our offense just constantly giving them pressure. And I think that was what the most effective part of our game was this past weekend. Another thing to add is the Heel brothers have been so good these last couple weeks. Nacho Heel in particular, made a great stop at the half field in the extra time of the first half, which ultimately caused the goal of Carlos Heel to go in. Basically, just to sum up what happened, if those of you who didn't watch the game, it's basically Nacho Heel at about half field basically just stopped one of the Charlotte attackers just from getting on their side of the field. He got that ball, and then the ball bounced into Carlos Heel, which caused Carlos Heel to run in, and then Nacho Heel made a great run into the box. Carlos Heel gave him a great pass. Nacho Heel took a shot, it bounced off the keeper, and then Carlos Heel was there to finish it off for that rebound. And it was, it was so good seeing that goal. It was the best feeling ever. And then our defense just kept us in the game. Like, if it wasn't for our defense this game, we probably would have lost or won. Or we already did win. Who am I kidding? But we probably would have either tied or lost. And, yeah, our defense was locked down. And that's what we need to see in our defense. That's the Revolution team that we know, that I've watched last season. That's the Revolution team that I want. And if we can get that team consistently playing like this for the rest of our games, I think we're going to have a good rest of our season. But if we can't consistently keep games like this, we're not going to have a good season. We're going to stay here at the bottom of the table still. But next game, like we said earlier, is going to be New York City FC. It's going to be a good game. We're hoping that we can beat them. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to that game, like I said earlier.
Over my brother saying, I think Revolution will win 2-0 and dominate them because New York defense sucks.
That's a based answer, Aidan. I couldn't agree more with you. It's if we can win 2-0, we're going to be 2 happy brothers right here. And it's going to be a very fun episode next week. However, if they do end up losing, we're just going to have to talk again about what they did wrong. So, yeah. So, Aidan, in the 89th minute of the game, Carlos Heel got shoved, or rather not shoved, but it was a shoulder-to-shoulder contact in the box, and the Charlotte defender didn't even try to attempt to go after the ball. Do you think it should have been a PK, even though they said it wasn't?
Yes.
And I agree with you on that one. There was just numerous things that were just blatantly obvious that should have been a penalty kick right on that one. When you look at the contact, well, for starters, at the very end of the play, the defender didn't even touch the ball once. He just went in shoulder to shoulder and pushed Carlos Gil off the ball. And the thing is, Carlos Gil had control of that ball, but the defender didn't even attempt to go after the ball. He went after Carlos Gil. You could clearly see in the replays that he went for him and not the ball. So, there's just numerous things that went wrong with that. It should have been ended off in a 2-0 win. But, it is what it is. The game's over. Nothing you can do. It was still a good game. We still won. And, yeah, to end off the episode, we want to give you guys 2 questions to answer. Take it away. And what's the first question?
When was New England founded?
And then the second question is, what are some of New Revolution's achievements in the MLS? Just pause the podcast right here, figure out those 2 answers, and then we'll give you the answers right here at the end of this episode. So, Aidan, what's the answer to the first question?
1995.
Yep. And the second question's answer is that they've reached the MLS Cup 5 times and have won 6 championships in the East. However, they haven't won a single MLS Cup, which is very shocking, considering they've been to the MLS Cup about, it's going to be 5 times. That's a lot of times, and not a single time they've won the MLS Cup. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Bro Sports. I know it was a little bit of a shorter one, but there's not much to talk about when your team wins. But anyways, I'm your host, Corey Raftery.
Aidan hosts.
Oh boy, you did it again, Aidan. Do you remember what you have to say? I am your host, Aidan Raftery.
I'm your host, Aidan Raftery.
And I'm your host, Corey Raftery, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Have a good one, guys.
Revolution, let's ride, and 2-0 on the line.
Right. Yeah, what he said. You scared the heck out of me, man. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Catch you guys in the next episode.